We've got Maya Watkins on the phone. Her new book, The Brain's Playground, Using Improv Games to Teach Social and Emotional Learning, is available now at zipzapzopenrichment.com.
Congratulations, Maya.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me with you guys. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Well, I've always been fascinated by just the way everyone thinks. And autism was always really, really fascinating to me. And what have you found out that by playing improv games with a lot of these kids, you're able to discover?
I've discovered that because I was taking improv classes at Second City while working with kids on the spectrum. My brother's on the spectrum, so I definitely just was always really intrigued by autism. That these improv games were in so many ways a way for the children with autism to practice social skills in a really non-judgmental way. And just notice empathy and listening and eye contact and verbal and nonverbal communication skills are all being practiced in these classic improv games that can be adapted for kids with autism.
And so there's kind of things that they've never done before or their parents haven't ever seen them do before?
Yes, exactly. So I have a few things that have happened even in the last few months where parents came up to me and were shocked that their child spoke even for the first time independently. So a lot of times you get prompted when you are limited verbal to speak using different kinds of therapies, but it's really was rare for some of the children I worked with to speak independently. So they would come to my improv class and kind of in this fun, organic way with the improv games found in my book, I was able to get them to connect some of their dots in their brain to speak in an organic way with their friends. But it took a special kind of tool with improv games to be in the moment to do so, with laughter and connection and games.
It's just mind-blowing, right?
So
that playing could somehow, reach some of this stuff.
So I don't know if you want me to share maybe a quick story
Sure.
that happened last week. So there's this one boy who I've been working with in one of my social skills classes, and he really had a hard time with empathy. He really had a hard time putting himself in other people's point of view. And we were playing a game where he was playing a character. He had a really hard time the last few weeks thinking organically of a different person to be. Like he was so stuck being himself. I'll call him Brian. His name isn't Brian, but I'll call him Brian. So Brian really wanted to just be Brian. And so then a week later, when I still worked with him to evolve and become this different character in this improv game I call Monster that I created, he pointed to another person in class and says, "I'm her," and pointed to someone in the class, a teacher. He says, "I'm her. I have long hair like her." So then he started thinking, okay, I'm going to be this other person in the room. And then a few weeks after that, he became just a completely different character that he developed by himself. His name was and he was a construction worker. And he started just talking way more as this character. So because he was practicing speaking as a character with this new voice, he was able to then translate that back into his own life and start speaking more as Brian.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I love it in the book, too. The way it's kind of set up is that you go through and you kind of explain the prompts of each game and kind of guide whoever the facilitator is in kind of the way this could be helpful. But, a lot of these have those kind of personal stories at the end of some way that you've seen it impact somebody who is playing the game.
Yeah, exactly. In the research project that I conducted the last few years, I made sure that each game had a real story to it so people can realize and kind of understand why this game helps with perspective taking or whatever the goal is kind of within that day.
I love the fact that most of this stuff, any kind of even thinking about autism is so new. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That to be able to come at it from these other directions is fascinating because nobody from the medical field was going to think in the same way that even Maya did.
Right. That's very true.
And I think that this is why, Maya, your book is great for parents or even family members who want to pick it up. What if there was just one thing in that entire book of exercises, one little thing that led to even a small breakthrough? It's gigantic for people.
That's absolutely
true.
I
know. I want therapists, teachers, parents, families to get a hold of this book and just, in whatever way they feel comfortable doing, start implementing some of these tools in their work. And even if it's just one of, you're right, like just one of the games, if a therapist, for example, finds that it has a huge effect on one of their clients, I will be so happy because that's kind of what Zip Zap Zop Enrichment's all about. We're teaming up with therapists and schools to implement this curriculum for social emotional learning, and it doesn't have to replace anything. It's just an add. I really want to make sure no one thinks I'm like taking away from any therapy that's been done before. Like, that's not the point. It's another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Maya Watkins, please check out her book, or if you know somebody who, could be impacted by this, a kid that this could make a difference for. The Brains Playground, using improv games to teach social and emotional learning, and it's available now at zipzapzopenrichment.com. Thank you so much, Maya.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you for having me.
And congratulations. I think it's amazing. I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.